GM. This is Melly, and I've been encouraged to share more about the process and the lifestyle of being a person with a permanent disability since birth, and all of the, let's just call it bullshit, that people like myself who are fighting already to be alive and making the best of what I have, but yet I'm still getting buried down. And it's by lots of voices and people that are either deferring me, or they're not educated, or they don't have all of the context, or they're just lazy and they don't want to assist. So what are the things that are swirling in my life? Well, there's a lot, because when you're disabled, first of all, access points are almost impossible. I mean, the American Disability Act was put into place for reasons for you to have the push button doors and to have bathrooms that wheelchairs can turn around in. This is called equal dwelling. The fact that I can't get into the building or go get a coffee or a gelato or visit an art gallery or a museum because they don't have ramps on the sidewalk, there isn't parking. Parking can either be occupied by construction vehicles, which that's all the time here in my neighborhood. It can be occupied by Amazon delivery drivers. It can be other delivery people that when I say, hey, that's for a handicapped person, oh, well, the other ones were filled up. I don't care, unless there's something wrong with you or you're picking up somebody, leave that open for people like myself, because why do I have to wait for you to finish your delivery for me to be able to go get my lunch, and then now my lunch is shorter because you were too lazy to park in the proper parking spot? I mean, I see it all the time from towing trucks, from everybody, and I started lighting it up like I'm doing right now, getting on the internet, letting everybody know, because I have nothing left to lose anymore. I got nothing left to lose. Nothing. My mom and my sister have passed, and they've transformed into their next spirit, and they have left this world, but their spirit is around me. And when that moment happened, and every time something would happen to me, good, bad, or just random, they were the two that I would call and just inform them. But now that they're gone and that void is there, guess what? It's on. They've kept me calm, they've kept me relaxed, but my flame of patience has reached cap, because it's not going to change unless somebody, who is clearly me, goes in there and informs people that these are the processes that I'm facing. This is the amount of time that I'm spending on the phone. I mean, I am a disabled person. I am not a prisoner. Prison people, more or less, have done something that put them there. I was disabled since birth. I shouldn't have to be feeling like I have to be attacked every time I'm on the phone advocating for myself. So I would say, if I had to narrow down the 5 biggest things that I'm facing right now, 5, because there's more than that, I would say 1, my housing. This building was developed in 2020, and they don't have ADA compliance nowhere. The doors, access ways, ramps, push buttons. I mean, I don't watch TV, so this doesn't apply to me, but even the TVs aren't set where they're supposed to be. So you're going through this whole building and you can't even get through the community areas that I'm paying a pretty penny to live here in this area, so that I can be close to what makes me feel good. I moved to this area because of a certain museum. I wanted to be within distance of that because it's my favorite artist, and that's why I'm here, and that's the real reason. And people will push back to me and say, well, didn't you tour the building when you came here? Don't you know? And I'm like, don't you know that you can't just throw disabled people in an apartment complex and say, okay, here, all the disabled people go there. I can have whatever apartment complex I want. I can have whatever lifestyle I want. As long as my credit and my pay stubs show that I am a valid person that can live here and have equal dwelling, which it did, and I got approved, and here I am. I've been hijacked by the property manager for every time I want something or I ask for something, a reasonable accommodation. He comes at me with his rude behavior. He backpedals me, his sarcastic tone. He reaches out to us, his abusive power. He's consistently contacting us for non-emergency things throughout the building when he needs to be focused on how to get this building up to compliance. It's been 8 months that I've been asking for help from him. And along the way, filed multiple complaints with the Fair Housing, Office of Human Rights. I now have a legal team that's assisting with me. Why does it have to get to the point where you have to sue somebody or you have to threaten to sue somebody for them to help you? Why can't they just follow the law? The federal government, American taxpayers, like myself, pay for a federal government to have funds for all the buildings in the United States of America to be ADA compliant. And Florida has all this shit going on with buildings falling down and construction being either not reviewed, not inspected, 5-10 years. How do they even get through? So yes, there's some big changes coming here in the real estate. And while they're changing people to be code compliant so that the buildings or whatever is going on with the, I am not a developer. I don't know the proper terms. But if you're going to force people to have inspections so that the building is up to code, then you need to make sure that it's included with the ADA as well and fair housing. I don't care if it's costing more money for people to go and fix a mistake that they were supposed to already have, but that is why these federal funds are available to us, is so that buildings can be equal dwelling for people like myself who are limited in wheelchairs or devices to be able to come in and have the same thing. If I want to live in this apartment and they don't have the blue button door, you better put it on there because you were somehow got through code compliance. You didn't have that door. So that's issue number one. My living situation is a nightmare, and they want to go through mediation, which I would love for them to do because I've already went through mediation the first time. Basically, you better open up that checkbook now, because all of the months that I've been asking for the accommodations and all the bullshit that you've put me through, just because I'm a nice, sweet person, doesn't mean I'm going to let people that don't deserve it to walk all over me. They make money here. There's 243 units in this building. Average rent is $2,100 up to $5,000 a month. They've got the funds to be able to come in here and do what's right and make this building accessible. However, I don't want to be here anymore unless they're going to fulfill all the terms, which is the balcony, the back rent, all the doors. I mean, there's a whole list of things that I've been asking for assistance with. I haven't been demanding. I've been submitting reasonable accommodation requests on behalf of myself and my disability rights advocate. The two of us have been following the process that's required for people with disabilities to go in and get these things done. Here I am doing the same thing that other people do, if not better. I'm doing 90% more around me than the average person because I have to compensate for that behavior of these ignorant people that aren't educated on fair housing, and instead of helping me, they badger me and they harass me and they yell at me, or they ignore me, or they delay me, or they don't even respond at all. And that's why I'm now going to this point of social media, because if this is the only way to get people's attention is to drop bombs all day on YouTube and Twitter and say, here's what happened at this corporation in beautiful sunny city, boom, let the community have a little action at it, then it will get changed. I've given enough chances for people to fix things. And now that the emails are getting toxic from the property manager, this guy's donezo. I will make sure it's a vendetta for him to be removed for all of the times that he's discriminated me. I'm asking for basic things like, I'd like to use the wheelchair lift for the pool. Oh, it's not working, blah, blah, blah. We don't have anyone that's certified in our building to be able to operate it for you. Turns out it was broken. It took him 2 months to get a new battery in. So we're paying $1,600 a month for the pool guy to come in, make our pool look good and clean all the piss out of it and all the people that spill their drinks in it. But the maintenance guy isn't checking the pool wheelchair lift to make sure that that works. And only until I want to use it, 4th of July comes around, I want to use it, and now it doesn't work. And then when it does work, you tell me that you can't help me operate it because no one's certified. However, I watched 2 workers here operate it, make sure that it turns and it doesn't, and I recorded them doing it. So when you want to backpedal to me and lie to me, make sure you're not doing it in a view that I can see the pool every day and watch all your moves, because everything's been documented. All of it's on TikTok, the timeline. My last career experience, I left that role as a legal operations support manager. You don't just become an ops manager for a legal department. You got to know how to push back. You got to have that mentality to push back. And now that this is my lifestyle and the rents are going up and the world is changing and people are getting nuts and everyone wants to move here, it's different now. The game has changed. I am entitled to this. I deserve it. I shouldn't have to spend 2 to 3 hours every day researching policies that aren't even in my role. This is not a part of what I do. I'm not supposed to go and do your role and figure out floating housing laws. No. Instead, you're getting slapped. You're getting penalized because the doors are 20 plus pounds to push them open, and the legal law is 5 to 8 pounds. Except for hurricane doors, which those go up to 13 pounds. And you can go ahead and quote me if you want. I'll throw in the names of all the Florida housing people that gave me these resources, and you can go after them. However, that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to be like, oh my God, pity this girl in her wheelchair. No, it's not like that. It's different. I met a prophecy. I had a prophecy. And this woman said to me, you are the poster child for disabled people. You are the one, you are strong enough. You can do this. This woman on the street, she doesn't even know too much about me. She sees me walking my dog. She sees me getting through the day. You know, here and there we're chatting. She's like, you're the poster child. You're the one that's going to be able to change it. And then the guy that does my nails, love him, John number 5. John is my guy. He convinced me to open up this world on YouTube and TikTok and etc. and put people into motion on making them accountable, holding them accountable for their bad behaviors, not letting these corporate gobble houses take control, come in here and clean out. It is a right to have basic things. I'm not asking for something more. I'm not asking for you to give me more treatment. I'm saying to you, this is what I'm owed. Here is what I'm entitled. Here is what the American Disability Act in 1991 was created for. And that's 30 years old. I'm 36 this year. And the ADA wasn't even around when I was born. That shows you how far behind we are as a society. We pay taxes, we pay into Medicare, we pay into all of that. That is what that money should be used for, is to make sure that people like myself don't have to face barriers to get into the building to be a consumer of whatever it is. An apartment, food, lunch, art. Any person that steps in my way and gives me a problem, I'm going to roll you over, because I've reached out. I've asked everyone for help. They're all dragging their feet. They're all stuck in a bottleneck of processes of everyone trying to get help, and nobody can do it because it's going to take a village. It's going to take someone to stand up to these people, and it's going to be me, because I got the media on board. I'm blasting them on Facebook. I'm throwing it in the group tenant chats, all of the things that are always going on, and people are livid. They're pissed about the apartment. They are pissed. And that's just my living situation. That isn't even in my medical stuff. That's 2. You want to talk about 5? Let's run through them real quick. Because the whole apartment housing thing, there's all videos on my YouTube about that. That is a whole slice of its own. Number 2, my medical supplies. Breathe. I've been a patient, client, customer of J&B's since I was 6 years old. J&B Medical Supply. They're based in Michigan. They have urological supplies that I've been using for incontinence. Bingo. There's a little gem about me. I have incontinence. My bladder is made out of my small intestine and my appendix, and I use catheters to go to the bathroom. However, most of my childhood, I had to use bags and devices and pads and all these other things. So it's like, haven't I paid my dues of going through layers that are painful and hiding all these things, hiding bags from people, big ass bags from people? Wow, I got shit and piss leaking from it. That's tough. And I nailed it. J&B Medical, specifically Barbara Sierra Adams, I'm going to throw you on blast. She's the director of customer service. Her and Terry, those two, they're great. They're just the nice 2 big old bitches together. Let's just say it like that. I have been recording the conversations of these 2 folks and how they have condescended me, pushing me down all these avenues about not releasing my supplies that I'm entitled to because they didn't have the right chart notes. So you're telling me that I've been with you since 6 years old, having the same supplies this whole time, and all of a sudden you guys have some changeover at the company. You guys switch over, so my usual person that processes the information is not there anymore, and you don't know what to do, and this has been a part of your company for, I don't know, 20, 30 years, whatever J&B is of age, and my supplies I'm entitled to with a valid prescription, with all the Medicare and all the insurance codes and all the medical necessity needs, 1,800 catheters, mind you. J&B is sitting on a lottery ticket. I call it a lottery ticket. We don't know what the world is going to happen. We don't know what's happening in the world. We don't know what's going to go down after this election. We already see it's happening in housing and people being laid off. Well, medical's next. They're going to get rid of the most vulnerable people, which is me. And I have the will to fight. Unlike some people who just do their thing. I'm not judging. I'm sober. 4 years. Weed is all I smoke. Drinking and all that other stuff, that stuff doesn't exist in my life. There will be people that can't handle situations like mine. And then they numb themselves. And then they lay in bed all next door and why me, why me? I have to wake up and walk my dog and meditate and do coffee. And it takes me hours to do the morning stuff before I even get on the phone to start calling attorney generals, the governor, the mayor. Advocates won't even help me because they don't know what to do. Fair housing complaints. I mean, you gotta file a complaint for everything. The BB&B, you gotta holler at everyone just to get eyes on them for them to do something because they won't do it. And J&B received all of the right chart notes. 1,800 plus catheters. contacted the insurance company, the direct medical supplier department, all the way up to the senior specialist. 2 hours it took me to get to that guy. His name is Mr. King. He's a king. We contacted the supply company. We spoke to Barbara over the phone. We three-wayed her 2 occasions, explained to her the claim process, about how they just need to file a claim with that information, with the codes from Medicare, all of the things with the chart notes, the valid prescription with that date, and then the contractor at the insurance company would either say yes or no, and then the supplies are covered. The supply company isn't paying anything. It's the insurance company that's on the phone telling them what to do, and they still won't do it. She won't do it. She wrote it to me in an email. We're not doing it. They made a mistake. They admitted that their fault, that they made a mistake. I've had the same prescription every year and nothing has changed. Nothing is going away. Why am I fighting tooth and nail to get basic things like housing and medical supplies? What next? What's next? I am done. I've reached cap. I reached cap. When my mom passed away and I got laid off from my job, that's when I realized this is the moment. I'm going to spend all of my time for all of the things that I need in my life to be a basic American person. I'm paying taxes. I'm doing the thing. I'm getting up. I'm doing the good. And I'm still getting knocked down by every single person that pushes buttons because they've never been in my shoes. They've never walked or rolled a mile in my wheelchair. They've never gone through these buildings. They've never had to insert catheters in their bodies 7 times a day, dealing with all this shit behind the scenes and still coming out with a pretty face and looking good and trying to be fun and charismatic because I want to show the world that disabled people are cool and that we can do it and we're strong and we can put up with that shit. Well, guess what? I can't. I'm done. I won't put up with it anymore. J&B, you're going down. 1701 Central, you're going down. Any other, mind you, excuse me, I'm from Detroit, motherfucker that gets in my way and takes something that I earned the right for, that I've gone through the process, I've gone through the medical, I've gone through all the things I was supposed to do, I've waited, I've never let my anger or my temper ever tick. Well, you ticked. When Mr. Del Greco sent me the email last week that started off with a sentence that said, Melissa, I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not, but you're making my job more overwhelming. That's how he started the sentence when I asked to use the wheelchair lift for the pool. And I sent that in our group chat of the tenants, and you want to know what they said? They said, why don't you write him back and say, hey, why don't you get in a wheelchair? Better yet, I'll let you borrow mine. And then you can roll around this building. You can tell me who's overwhelmed or not. And instead, you know, I know the legal work. I'm a legal operations support manager. Hit me 100 times. You'll never take me down. I will claw with my teeth across the ground before you take me down. That is what will happen. Instead, I said, you know, I'm really sorry, you know, Mr. Del Greco, that me asking to use the wheelchair is making you feel stressful at your job and overwhelming. You need to talk to your employer about that. And I CC'd the whole corporate team. Like, here you go. Because I don't think that they're even aware that this is going on. Because if they're aware of this is going on, it wouldn't have made it to this point. And the only reason why I've decided to open up and expand is because nothing's getting done. As much as I want to say everyone's trying, we've been trying since December. I've been getting fake promises, blank statements, ignored, denied. I'm getting hit in my body. It's killing me. And the more that people say to me, well, then you need to just move it out. Well, you need to just, because I shouldn't have to leave something that I worked my heart at to be here because they're not compliant. You think that that's a quick fix with the Band-Aid is just for me to leave. It's not. It's the righteousness And it's the principle. These people that are screwing the system and taking away things that belong to people like myself that are vulnerable, you're going to feel it. And I'm going to make sure that you dream about me in the middle of the night. Like, I can't believe I did that to that young girl. I should have just helped her when I had the chance. You should have, and you could have, and you didn't. Instead, I'm calling, I'm trying to figure it out, and spending half my day when I should be working and looking for work and finding other projects to do and feeling my creativity with my art. Instead, I'm trying to find other pro bono lawyers, advocates, housing rights people, federal government people. I'm reaching out to the governor. I'm reaching out to all the representatives. I'm letting everybody know that this is a problem in Florida and we need to address it. We need to fix it. I'm informing them that you can use me as your poster child. I don't care. God is protecting me. This bubble around me is golden and you can't burst it. My mom and my sister were taken away from me. My uncles were taken away from me all within this last year, and my dream job is gone. Well, I got nothing left to lose. You can come at me in 100 ways because I've been trying to be patient and go through everything, and I've been resilient, and I won't have it anymore. I'm not going to spend 40 hours a week on the phones for something that can be solved over social media immediately. And yes, this is putting me at risk by giving everybody my business and letting everybody know that this is going on. But how else is something going to be changed if we can't figure out how to help? If people are saying, oh, I didn't know, you knew. How did you become a property manager? How did you get to the director of customer service? If you didn't go through the trainings and the policies and the classes and the bullshit, you know you're doing wrong because you think it's going to cost you something because you use that money that it's supposed to be used for something else. Okay, so we've knocked out 2 of the 5 things that are going on. Let's wrap it up, shall we? 3, I got my manual wheelchair. It took me a long time to get this beauty. It's an ultralight. This is an ultralight chair. I love it. It's so cute. The original company that I was going through in Fort Myers, I'm going to name drop them in the comments. We met, we had the articulation, we went to the orthopedic doctor, we did the whole thing. There was 8 different appointments with this specialist in person, at the doctor's office, round in circles. I found the chair that I wanted, the Ultra chair that I wanted. I sent it to them, I sent a link, and they were like, your insurance company doesn't cover that. So I went back to the wheelchair folks and I said, hey, do you have a code for this insurance? Because the supplier, the DME supplier, is saying that they don't cover it. Oh yeah, here it is. So I take that screenshot and I send it. Oh, I found the code. Here it is. So then Linda does not like that I found the chair that I want, that works for me, and says that they would only receive 80% of the covered amount, and that 20% would need to be covered by state insurance, and that might not be able to be processed. So they were unwilling to move forward with the chair that I wanted because they wanted me to get something else, this other biggie, bulky one that's not ultralight. I'm 82 pounds. I need an ultralight chair. I can't use a regular chair. Those are 30 pounds. I can't lift a 30-pound chair with a 10 muscle. I can't do that. So in not so many words, she emailed me and said that they're not working with me. They're not moving forward with me. I spent 8 months on that train with these people and they wouldn't help me fulfill the one that I wanted. Instead, they gave me another one that doesn't work. Why didn't you say that to me in the beginning initial consultations when we were looking at chairs? Now it comes down to billing. Now you don't want to get me the one. So I went all the way to the BBB of Florida. They weren't any help either. Got all the way to the process line. I'm in a contract with this company. They've got all of my medical records. HIPAA, hello. And they still said no. So BBB hit them with a complaint, got a big old review online. And at the end of the day, BB&B was like, it's a service and they don't have to fulfill it. So even though you have a contract, they don't have to fulfill it. So I went on Google and I blasted them with a bunch of reviews with all my burner accounts, did the whole thing. And you know what? I'm still kind of mad at them for that whole time period of that 8 months where I could have been in a chair and I wasn't. Lost ages of life with that from moving around with just the crutches and my shoulders and these damn doors. So I got a new DME provider and they were great. They came all the way to my home. Greg did all the measuring. I love my chair. I got lights on it. It's so cute. Come to find out, the insurance company did not cover the full amount. So they still fulfilled the wheelchair. They still got it in. They still did the thing. And then we went through a claim process. We filed a claim. The doctors, the orthopedic doctors, or why does she need it? Why is it a medical necessity? Why is it these things? But I mean, that was a year plus process, right? Of just doing the thing, just doing the administration. But you got who, which, and what not, and blah, 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 who, which, and what not, using the system and frauding it, and no aftermatums for them. They're just able to use the system. But here I am, clear as day, disabled as fuck, mind you. Sorry, excuse me. Can't get the chair. And so I was like, hey, I go long distances. I have a disabled dog. She sits on my lap. I go distances. And I, would like to have one of the electric wheels on the back so that I can hook it right here and then push a button, and then it pushes me so I can hold my Chihuahua in my hand, push the button, and it moves me. I don't want an electric chair because you can't travel with those. That was another day about how many things have been broken on the airlines. But you can't travel with electric. No, it's not possible. You can fight me on that. People get their chairs broken all the time. It's not worth it to me. So the manual works for me, so I can lift it in and out and get it in my car without having to get a whole new setup. Yes. They're telling me I have to wait a full year to be in the chair. The diagnosis is not changing. This isn't going anywhere. I'm disabled since birth. Mind you, I'm still going through that trauma to this day of why I am who I am and how I got to look this way. This was a lot. And I'm not going to open up everything, but I have been writing a book for some time. And when that comes out, you better hope you're not in the book because you're going to get smoked by lots of people coming at you. We got the army of angels, and we do it so aggressive yet politely. It's unimaginable. So now I have to wait until May of next year to ask for the wheelie thingy, because you have to first be in your wheelchair for 1 year, and then if the status of your condition doesn't change, then you can get the wheelie thingy. It's $7,000, or I would go and get it myself. Honestly, it's so important on my list of things that I need to do. But I know housing is first, and then catheters is second, and then my wheelchair is third. I mean, that's 3 things. That's 3 huge mountains on my shoulders by myself that I have to navigate all day. I don't even know how I have the time to do things, do social events, go out, get lunch, do those things. I don't. I sit here on the laptop firing off emails all day, using ChatGPT and just blasting these people, trying to figure out how to move the needle. Because when I call, there's no record of it, and they don't, he said, she said, but I've been recording a lot of these conversations, so that's going to be coming out in the documentary when this is all exposed, mind you. Nothing. Zero. So I've been emailing, reaching out, give them 3 days. I know everyone's busy. My little petty ass problems are uncomparable to other people's stuff. They're limited on resources. They don't have enough people to help. This is why I feel bad asking, because other people have more precedent with bigger shit going on. You think I could just get it done, but I can't. So that's 3. I'm not an angry person. I'm just fueled up with bullshit. And then 4 and 5. 4 and 5 are a little interesting because it's more relatable to me as a person and what faces I want to show. I'm an artist. Everyone's aware of that. I like to change my look. I like to wear bright things. I like to be fun and loud. Art helps me heal. It lets me do natural, it's called expressionism. So you just throw it out and you release it. So 4 and 5 are related to day-to-day discrimination. As an example, because I've got a lot of examples, but I'll just give you one example because I could sit here every day and tell you about how someone has discriminated me. I could sit here every day and tell you what someone said to me and how they approached me and how they came after me. But I have to wear this thick layer of skin and my golden bubble and all of my angels and God's hands around me to just remind them that whatever you say to me has already been said to me as a child. Do better. Try again. You got something else? You know? But when it affects my work and my art business, that's when I take it personal. On Saturday, August 10th, I performed an activation at the Don Cesar, where the 2 pools are. I invited all my friends, made some posters online, some social media activity. 2 very close friends of mine, Jan and Kelly, helped me set up my tent, blow up the flamingos, get the fans out. I made painted fans for everyone to hold with my QR code on them. These are for a charity event that's happening on Friday, but imagine this, very colorful, with a QR code on them. So the QR codes lead to my story about having a disability and other things in that regard. So I did a really good job. I had tons of kids come over asking, like, what is she doing? You know, doing temporary tattoos for them. Every child that came up to me, they got like an ice cream keychain for free. I gave out crowns, fans. I sold a ton of art. My neighbors came through. They paid the $25 parking fee to come. They supported and spent hundreds of dollars on lunch and drinks. And I thought it went so well. I thought it was amazing. The other artists that were vending with me, they were like, oh my gosh, you're a marketing diva. I teach entrepreneurship classes, and everything that you're doing is what is the staple of my class. You are so good at branding. You are so good at your story. You are so good at amplifying yourself. And I was like, wow, thank you so much. This is my first time. You know, I was a little bit deferred because Suntan Art Gallery over at the Don Cesar parking lot had said to me that the juror didn't like my art, but it was really the frames. I didn't have the correct paint. So they said, you know, teach a class, do some vending, and submit your art again. Okay, so here I am following the steps that Cindy of the gallery had shared to me. Well, she gives me a call that Tuesday after the event, and she says to me, and I have it recorded, because I was walking Coco, and I was like, oh, you know, because my class was supposed to be the following day on Wednesday of that week. She says, the Don has uninvited you. You are no longer allowed to be back at the Don. And I was like, okay, what happened? Did someone get hurt? You know, did something happen with whatever? Maybe a temporary tattoo? Was there whatever? What's going on? And she said, well, the general manager said that you're not allowed to come back and that we as Suntan Art Gallery artists would lose privileges if you came to the Don again. And I was like, okay, what's the general manager's information? Let me have a meeting with them. Let me try to clear up what happened. She won't tell me what happened, what the experience was. First of all, this lady feels obviously threatened that I'm a shining star and I can transform anything in my area and give everyone a sense of hope and just dignity, that there is humanity still existing. I'm out there doing the thing and I'm disabled as fuck. So she won't let me speak to anybody. She tells me that I can't contact anyone or they're gonna lose privileges, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, well, I'm gonna speak to the Don and I'm gonna try to get down to this. And she got upset that I was gonna contact them. She's like, don't do that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, I have to, because I have the Don Cesar business card in my bathroom since before my mom passed. That my sister and we drove by it, and that was like one of the dream places that I wanted to have my art. So I submitted a catalog to them and all this other stuff before I became a vendor. So this is a big moment for me, the Don. So I was not going to accept, no, you're not invited again. So I contacted the Don and I got through the phone people and they patched me to someone's voicemail, and it wasn't even the right person. It was like not even in the hospitality or events or whatever. And I left a message. So I waited because I know that they're busy. Again, I'm not trying to have my little petty ass problem take precedent of like real problems. So I waited a week. Nobody contacted me back. So I went to the Don that Monday. So the 10th was Saturday. That Tuesday, she told me I wasn't invited. And then she canceled my Wednesday abstract class, $45 each person. And removed all my posts from social media. She took everything off the internet like I didn't even exist. All of it. Like, but you're still promoting people for October, but you're going to cancel my class? Okay. So I go to the Don and I go to the front desk and I said, hi, I would like to know if I can talk to somebody about something that happened to me. And one of the front office managers, Andrew, came out and sat down with me. He sat with me and he's like, what's going on? And then I had said to him my story, everything about the event and all of that. And he's like, why are they speaking on the behalf of the Don? And the general manager is Barbara Reedy, and she didn't say that. And so I, got all of this documented, wrote an email so that it's in writing. He's like, you're welcome here. We heard about your activation. People were carrying your fans. The kids loved it. You were a hit. We'd love to have you back for us. So screw the gallery. I'm going to go with them. So I went back online and I have a group email of all of the artists that have been CC'd in it. And I said, I just want to raise attention to a point of reference where Cindy had discriminated me. She told me I wasn't allowed to come back. She provided inaccurate information that the Don uninvited me, and they did not. She canceled my class, and now she's telling me I can't return. Even though that Saturday or Sunday, she asked me, how did it go? Apparently she was there. I don't think she was there. If she was there, she would have walked over and checked on me. She lies through her teeth, and she doesn't understand that I can see that from a distance when someone's lying. Like, keep going. Because keep burying yourself, because that's what's going to happen. Okay? So I sent the email to all the artists. Like, I just want everyone to be aware that this had happened, and these are the steps that, and I just put like bullets, like this date, this date, this date. So if it happens to anybody else, I would like if you could reach out to me and we can talk about it, because it's not fair that only a small amount of us are being discriminated because we're so successful and we're so good at what we do that we can't be there now, even though there's no reason. So the Suntan Art Center hits me with a certified letter at my door. I had to like sign for it at the post office. Not from a legal department, but they hit me with a certified letter. And I have a legal team now, so they're reviewing it, because you can't tell someone something and not give them like full context. Be like, you're uninvited. blah, blah, blah. What happened? What did I do? I didn't do anything. I am a clean person. I'm polite when I don't have to be. And I make sure that everyone else around me is always taken care for before me. You know when they say that you're supposed to put your oxygen mask on first before you put others? I'm not that person. I'm going to the kids and I'm putting the kids on first and then I put mine on. And I know that's not the way to do it, but God will give me enough strength to make sure that I get through it. So number 4 just circles and encompasses a day-to-day interaction, day-to-day, sometimes multiple times a day, of discrimination. And I am now going to put them on blast. Every time that this happens to me, I'm just going to pull up my tripod, flick it on, read off whatever it was said, whatever they want to tell me, and be like, audience, what do you think about this? What do you think about a person who can barely get out of bed every day, hauls down a 10-foot by 10-foot tent with all of the art, everything meticulously, doing it, giving it out, making these vibrancies, and then not even an apology, not even an I'm really sorry. No, just a flat out lie. The Don said you can't be here, which is inaccurate because the Don said they shouldn't be speaking on their behalf. So Cindy, you're on that list of everybody else of like making sure you feel it, because I don't know why people are so threatened by me or whatever her energy is. Maybe she's like, oh my God, I can't believe she's able to do all these things. I'm not making excuses for who I am. I worked so hard to get that activation. I stare at the business card. I manifest them. It's right next to my postcard about working for the previous company that I worked for, Yuga Labs. Yuga found you. Yuga picked you. That's my vision. Where do you want to be? Those are the places, right? It sucks to have this all the time. And last but not least, number 5, it goes, because I want to do an hour video a day, because I feel like that helps with the day in the life of like, here's what's going on right now. Here's the challenges that I'm facing. So I'm going to do an hour every day. And I reached out to a handful of Sundance directors, and I'm like just been shooting them my YouTube like, hey, I think we should make a story, because it's not only fulfilling goodness, it's also exposing. And when that woman that hardly knows me, only knows a little bit about me, says to me that I'm the poster child of disabled people, she's right. I've changed laws. I've gone to bat. I've reached out to congressmen. I've been pushed down, I've been buried down, I've been everything, but that doesn't stop me, because I've got the will to fight, and I've got the way. And I know that I just need God, and I've got my mom and my heart and my sister wrapping around me, the 2 people that would always listen to all these problems that I'm having. I don't have them anymore. Now it's you. Now you're going to be the person that has to listen to this, because if I have to go through it, and as a community, you think that this is wrong, you think that there should be something done about it, let's do something about it. So number 5. Number 5 is a little bit personal, because it's more or less, it's society. It's like, it's not, I wouldn't say it's like an issue that you or the world can be like, oh, let's try to like find a way, a resource to fix it. It's more of an internal thing that I have to work on myself. So because of my disability, differently abled, unique abled, I am confined to devices. I have my wheelchair. I barely use my crutches. I mean, you ask anybody. It's like, it used to be my day-to-day. I've got my wheelchair. I've got my scooter. I have my crutches. My dog is disabled. She has a wheelchair. Society treats me different because of these things. You know, it kind of goes back to one of the earlier statements of just like being able to access the building. Well, even when you access the building, there isn't like accessible seats or parking. And if there is, it's occupied by someone that's unauthorized or isn't aware or is aware and just acting like they don't care. And when I lived in Detroit, I'm from Michigan, and I lived in a warehouse for a long time in Detroit in the art scene, and I lived downtown. When I came back to America, I was living in Colombia, and I came back to America. I saw the world differently because I was abroad for 18 months that time. So like becoming Americanized, I guess, again, was like, you know, whoa, how, geez, right? So I went like, just here's like a basic story. And some of you remember this. I'm sorry, my DMs, I'm gonna wait for that one to disappear. When I was getting a bagel on 8 Mile, on Einstein. Anybody know the 8 Mile? It knows this is in Ferndale though, so it's not like Detroit. I was living on couches. So I was like bouncing around and trying to find a place to live. And, oh, sorry, just a quick tip. I'm getting bombed with some DMs right now. Anyways, let's finish the story because I want to get this all together. So I'm going to put on this do not disturb mode like I had this morning and tell people to leave me alone. Okay. I went to get a bagel, and there was a person that was parked the handicap spaces. Handicap, put your car here. Handicap, put your car here. This person parks their vehicle on the lines like that. Some jerk. So I had to park at the end, and another person was in a wheelchair, and they were like unloading themselves at the end because this person was ignorant. So I waited for him to come out, and I was like, yo, homie, what's up? You know, he's like, are you law enforcement? I was like, no, but are you disabled? Because if you are, I understand, but you should make it so that you park. Because you don't know if someone's invincible disabled and they just forgot to put their tag up, right? They might have dyslexia. We don't know everyone's situations. But in this case, this guy was an asshole. So he parks in this middle, and there's 2 spots here. So the moral of the story is that this is an everyday thing for me. Can't get parking, can't get in, can't do anything. Might as well just remove me from the world because it's not equipped for me. So I'm like, hey, I need to park here, and this other person at the end of the parking lot needs to park here too. Can you move your car so that we can have an open space? And he's like, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And then he starts telling me that Messiah is going to wipe me out. And he starts reading off these verses about how disabled people are cockroaches to the world and all this other shit. I mean, this man was nuts. Old black man. Crazy. I got my phone out now at this point because I thought he was going to chuck my dog. I thought he was going to kick my dog and kill her because he was getting aggressive. Instead, he puts his hands on me and chokes me didn't get enough evidence because the Attorney General and the Oakland County Police Department gave me this little pity party about, oh, I had cancer twice and I've been in your shoes and I know how hard it is, but I'm sorry, we can't help you in this situation because the back cameras weren't working and we don't have enough evidence with your phone, and the person that was in the parking lot, she won't testify. So that just got thrown out. When these moments happen to me and then I have to reflect on them, I go through and I analyze every little detail, and I say to myself, what did I do? What did I do? Did I do something? And it wasn't me. It was an internal thing that they were doing, reflecting on me. And the officer said to me, next time, instead of getting involved, to call them. And I was like, yeah, but you guys as a police department don't come out when there's an emergency unless there is an ambulance needed or other. Everything else you have to go on the non-emergency crime line, because that's how much crime is happening there. So how am I supposed to come out for you guys to give a ticket issue for a handicap violation when I know that I'm on the bottom of the dirt like the worms are, because that's how you treat me? And yet I'm still getting parking tickets from 10 years ago for parking where I needed to park because they didn't have disability parking, because that's how broke as a joke Michigan is, that they're sending me tickets and legal court hearings for me parking using my placard, and it's not disability, and I didn't pay. I got a free parking on it. Hi. If that's my one gift is to get free parking for being disabled, then let me have it. This world is upside down. This world is back asswards. And with the new election coming up, there's going to be a lot of changes. The first of the year hits, we're going to see a lot of things moving. And all of these problems that I'm facing, they're not your problems, but other people might have problems that are similar to this. So if we throw all of these issues in a blender and smooth them all out and start working on them together, we can cohesively find ways to fix these gaps in the processes that are supposed to be in place for people that have ADA issues. And mind you, when we're done with this conversation, I'm going back on my email and I'm going to follow up with every single media, attorney general, the mayor, every single thing that I have in lanes right now, the trains that are moving. If I don't light a fire under them to get them to help me, it's like I don't exist. So even though numbers 4 and 5 on my list of 5 things are more like personal related things, 1 through 3, that's encompassing all of the disabled people, all of the differently able people. And that to me is enough to dedicate my life to make a change as the so-called poster child, because there's a will, there's a way. And I have enough strength in me being instilled from me, from all the hardships I've faced, that this is just a walk in the park. This is just a walk in the park. And I'm going to use my platform, which is you, to help me find a way of whatever I need to do, because it's about your network. And if I can get my network on board with all these changes, and I've got my GoFundMe link in the description to help me with moving accessibility things for ADA, that to me makes the rest of what life I have amazing. So I'm going to leave it here at that note that I am not an angry person. I'm not. I'm actually super charismatic. I do have a little bit of flair to myself and sassiness, but sometimes you have to put on that mask of fight so that people take you seriously. So when you climb down the walls of who I am and get down to the layers of me as this beautiful, genuine soul, you'll know that I'm just as sweet as ever. But when it comes to the things that help me with my basic human rights and basic human needs, I will fight tooth and nail until it's over. So, thank you for giving me this platform. God bless. Amen. Let's keep our prayers up. Let's hope that there's going to be a change and that everything that is supposed to be for me won't go past me. Ciao, ciao. Thanks.